ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's day one here of San Diego Comic-Con, and we were just talking about it moments ago. It's crazy in the best way possible. The energy is great, and we've got our first of 3 segments that are going to be happening over the next 3 days. And this one I'm super excited about. These 2 gentlemen have a new book out. Hopefully, you've already read the first issue. It's called Horizons, and it is published by Skybound and Image. And, well, welcome. We got Brandon Thomas.
Thank you.
We got Juan joining us. And, guys, I mean, exciting to launch your first issue, especially right around something like Comic-Con?
Yes. Yeah, very exciting. Been working on this for a long time, so it's been very rewarding to see the book come out last week. We got a lot of great reviews, a lot of great feedback. People are already on board, so we're just, we're excited.
Great.
And we sold out too. I know I keep saying that over and over again. Horizon 1 sold out, second print in store soon.
That's excellent. Juan, also equally exciting. I mean, I don't think you're going to sit there and go like, no.
No, this is great. No, this is great. And it's the, like, it's a great moment. Like, I'm so happy to be here with Brandon and with Skybound. It's like family. It doesn't feel like work. It feels like we're having fun.
Yeah, we're having
really
too much fun.
Yeah. So what we're going to do here is we're going to, of course, be chatting and kind of shooting the shit and having some fun. Juan, but you've got a little bit harder job than Brandon and I.
Yeah.
That's fine. Sit over here and tell you what to do.
Yeah, I'll do my best.
You're gonna draw a piece. We're gonna be able to check and watch the progress.
Okay.
And then later on, we're going to actually auction this off for charity to Rett syndrome.
That's perfect.
And so it should be pretty cool, and I'm excited to see what Juan puts out.
Anytime Juan draws anything, it's pretty cool.
All right, so here's what we're going to do, because Juan came up, he's like, what are we drawing? What are we drawing? It's like, well, let's have fun and figure it out while we're up on stage. So I threw down a couple of ideas, right?
Okay.
And I'll tell you each one, and then I'll let you guys discuss, and then you figure out what you think would be the best one to go. So the first one is probably like the low-hanging fruit, and it's obviously a lot of artists have their own favorite, whether it be characters, series, heroes, etc. So just whatever that person is for you. Biggest influence, biggest character you grew up with, to just draw your version. The other one, because I think this one's really appropriate, you know, joining the Skybound family, it might be pretty interesting to see some sort of Skybound mashup.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay.
So, what do you, I'll let you guys, you know, deliberate.
Okay. I think zombies are always fun.
It has to be zombies.
And Invincible is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Too.
Let's do.
Or you want to go with something from Horizon?
Can you draw like Battle Beast?
Yeah.
That one may be difficult, so.
Okay. Yeah, let's do Battle Beast.
Okay, so Battle Beast.
Yeah.
Who's obviously a fan favorite for those who love Invincible.
Yep.
And then did I hear you say zombies?
A zombified Battle Beast.
A zombified.
Okay, that's quite a challenge, but let's,
All right.
I was going to say fighting zombies, which is probably easier.
No, let's do
okay. Let's do the hard one.
Okay.
I'll just let you know,
I'd start with that.
You have approximately then 40 minutes.
Okay.
All right. And we'll be checking in. And,
that's crazy.
Is it fine if I just put this on the table?
You know what? I mean, frankly, I think you do whatever you want. It might make that guy's job a little harder, but we want you to be able to make the best zombified battle.
Yeah, I thought it was going to work, but it's too tall. Sorry, guys. I don't want to be the weird artist that has all these tricks.
I don't like the easel up this high.
Do you want some initial concentration here, or can I just ask you some questions?
You can ask.
No? Okay, I was just going to, before I start like drilling Brandon here, like, what are you working with in terms of like, your
materials?
Tools, and then what do you normally?
I usually use like a B, lead pencil, or HB, and then I use this for the sketch. Then I clean it up with I think it's called knead eraser, something like that, to clean up the sketch. And I finish the pencils with this. It's a 0.5 2B mechanical pencil, and I ink with this like Faber-Castell or Microns. And I didn't brought India ink, but I use India ink brush. I use like maybe fingerprints for textures or a toothbrush for spatter. I didn't bring that stuff.
That's okay.
I'm gonna work with
It's like
these guys.
advanced level stuff.
Yeah,
Whiteout too always works. That's pretty much it.
Great. All right. We know the full arsenal.
Basically.
All right, we'll let you get a couple minutes.
I start sketching something up.
Brandon, how are you doing?
I'm doing amazing.
Awesome.
Amazing. It feels great. Like I said, we've been working on this for a really long time, and it's just awesome for the book to have come out already. Me and Juan have been working on this for quite a while. Like I've turned in 12 scripts. He's working on issue 6 right now, so we have we got a little head of steam, and we just want to get this book out every month, build a little momentum, and get people loving these characters and loving this world.
So now I have to like filter through the 10,000 questions that you just had pop in my head. Okay, let's start with number 1, because it's like on the first page.
Okay.
I love that you have the language key in there. Like I as a fan, I was like, that's so damn smart, right? Especially like the first page you see also is, art and no dialogue at all.
Yep.
But when I saw that, like, high five to you, man.
Let's just say there have been very long discussions about how we're actually going to play with language and how we're going to kind of differentiate the different languages spoken in the book, and then what'll happen further down the line is the lines will kind of blur a little bit, so there will be maybe less of one language and more of one, which will kind of signify how embedded the characters are getting in our society. So the inside front cover in general was just something that I had been thinking about for months. Like I had a big plan, and my idea is that we want to use I want to use every inch of space that we have in the book to help tell this story. And I know that usually people will just flip open the comic and they'll start reading.
Right.
But I wanted to have something on there for, the people that actually do kind of stop and see like, oh, hey, there's like a key in here and the balloons are different shapes.
Oh, so I'm that guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
You did it right.
Yes.
I talked to a bunch of people that didn't even notice it until I told them specifically, and then they went back and they're like, oh, that makes so much more sense now.
That's awesome.
I just love stuff like that. And our great letterer, Russ Wooten, he letters a ton of books. I asked for him specifically just because I love the work that he's doing. And so we went back and forth, like what's the best way? Should we do different balloon shapes? Should we do different fonts? And ultimately we decided that the different shaped balloons were the kind of the most seamless way to do it. And then to get that language key, it was...
Yeah, and I mean like...
I'm really proud of that.
I feel like over time, maybe certain speech bubble shapes have sort of denoted different things. Like if I have someone screaming and we have like a burst, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think, at least for me and what I've read, this might be the first time I've ever seen that approach.
Thank you. I know people do slightly different things. Tom King is doing some interesting things with captioning on a great book called, I believe it's Sheriff of Babylon. So he's doing some things where he puts his sound effects in captions instead of actually putting it in the art. So I love stuff like that. I love trying to, we just want to create, an entire product. We don't want you to be able to kind of flip past anything. We want the inside front cover to be important, the actual comic, of course, to be important. And then when we get some letters pages in, then that'll be a whole other kind of perspective, a whole other way to like really engage with the fans. So, like I'm using every inch of the book that I can get.
No, so I mean, if we, like, this is the first issue, first time that personally I'd seen the language key ever. I also want to say congratulations, because it's the first time that I've ever done a word jumble while reading an issue.
Oh, thank you.
Like I was also like, holy shit, this is awesome. And like, just so that I can tell you how my brain worked with that, is that, there's the thing where it's like, we generally read certain words and you can actually like just subtract letters and like switch them around,
and you can
but
still
read it.
Yeah.
And so like as I'm going through thinking that it's gibberish, like there were a couple words. It was like I still read it, even though it was. But then when I realized what I was actually, I was like, "This is awesome." I also took the time to learn exactly everything that was coming out of the television.
Yeah.
Well done. So
thank you.
If there's just a preview of what's to come,
yes.
I gotta say, Brandon,
there's a lot of stuff like that coming up. In that sequence, those are actual, like I actually scripted out dialogue. So we'll probably run it somewhere in secret. We'll reveal what those balloons actually say when they're not scrambled. But what I did was I wrote the dialogue first, and then I scrambled it.
Right.
Because I wanted it to have the right kind of like line length and cadence. And stuff.
You can't just be like, here, just randomize it.
It's not
with
just
a computer.
jumble. It's not just a jumble. There are actual words and sentences that I wrote out and drafted, and then I scrambled them.
It actually makes a lot of sense because it also increased the difficulty on some of the words to like figure out what they were.
Yeah.
So again, like
thank you. I love that. You know, every once in a while you'll be writing something and you'll get to that point where you're like, I think this is really good. And I had that feeling when I was doing that entire sequence. I felt like it, you know, you have those situations where it comes out in the script exactly how it was in your head. And that was one of those sequences that came out exactly how I imagined it. So I was pretty pleased with that.
Excellent.
I was pretty pleased with myself when I put that in the script.
Like I said, I mean, just
I have to be honest.
From fan to creator, like, well done.
Thank you.
Great job. So
thank you.
How's Juan?
I just laid out the basic sketch. Then what I do is like I roughly shade it a little bit with this pencil to see where the blacks are gonna go, and then it's just I go to town with this one to put in all the details, and then it's just inking.
This guy's amazing.
Yeah.
I wish I could do what he does.
Yeah, I'm trying to do it fast, so I want to make it look good, but also I know that we have like a certain amount of time, so
there's like a timer going or something.
Like it. Yeah.
So how did this little partnership come to be then?
Skybound put us together.
Yeah.
We went through a lot. Me and my the Skybound editorial director Sean Makowitz.
Right.
We went through quite a few names. Sean is very demanding editor. That's how I know that the things I'm turning.
He was here earlier.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's good that he's not here anymore, so I can talk about him.
Oh.
But
I thought it was here.
Oh no.
Yeah.
No. So we can speak freely. Don't worry. Don't worry. He's not around. But we went back and forth. You know, a lot of different names, and he got to Juan. And Juan was doing a book for Marvel called Ghost Racers. And I was reading the book because I read everything. But that was the first time I had actually seen his work. And I'm just like, this guy is amazing. Yeah. And so Sean's like, well, what about Juan? And I'm like, well, get him before Marvel puts him on another book after Ghost Racers is done. But thankfully, you know, they were sleeping. They were asleep at the wheel. They had this guy in the building, and we got him. Like, just perfect timing. And we get along super well. We like a lot of the same things, a lot of the same influences, video games. We both kind of have an obsession with action figures and statues, even though I think Juan has completely overtaken me in that regard. I feel like I started ahead of him, and then a couple of months in, I'm like, wow,
I think this one.
It's like I'm really behind now. I have to catch up. But it's been great. It's been great working with him. Great partnership, great relationship. And the further along we go, the scripts are becoming more and more, I wouldn't call them loose, but so now when we're doing action sequences, we're working on 6 right now. And 6 is almost all action. And I know that that's something that he does really, really well. That's one of his specialties. The intensity, just the kinetic, the movement.
Right.
And so what I'm doing now with the scripts, when I lay out an action sequence now, I'll just give him kind of like the major beats. Like, this is kind of, you know, what will happen in the middle, and kind of change it, and this is where it ends. And I'll just let him go in and actually do the choreography do the ins and outs and the camera angles and spinning it around the scene, because I know that it's something that he does extremely well and better than me. So instead of trying to orchestrate like this perfectly choreographed action sequence, I'm just like, okay, here's what I'm thinking about, or we'll reference like a movie or anime or a TV show. And that's kind of how it's working, like the longer we go along.
I mean, like, I'd imagine that, the perfect scenario is finding that synergy between two creators, where then suddenly it's like, finishing one another's sentences. But in this case, like a book, right?
I mean, by the time we get to, Horizon 15, I'll probably be like writing it on a napkin or something and just passing it to him.
Have like hand signals that'll
He's like, you remember that that panel on page 10 from issue 8, like that, but spin it. So really looking forward to that and having a great time working with this guy. And we both are obsessed with comics, and we're both very hungry and very committed to comics, and making this book the best it can be, and really kind of showing the world of comics that we can put out great comics on a monthly basis.
I'm definitely interested, coming from a big fan of comics myself, like what's your must reads of past, present, future,
Oh wow.
I know, it's a hard question, right?
So many.
I always like to say is like, what is the book that you would, you feel like you could tell anyone like this is what you should read, and the hooks are in.
I would say All-Star Superman by Grant Morrison and Frank Quitely. I think that is one of my favorite runs of comics of all time. Another book that I love but is very dense and complicated, so maybe not for, this is more kind of like an intermediate pick.
Okay, that's fair.
I would say Casanova by Matt Fraction, which is another, it started out as an Image book and then it became a Marvel book and now it's an Image book again. So Matt Fraction with Fabio Moon and Gabriel Ba, if I'm saying his name correctly. But those are, I kind of have like this stack of comics that I want to make sure I reread every year. Like every year, I want to reread All-Star Superman. Every year, I want to reread all of Casanova. And these are the books that, like, I want to, I'm hoping that Horizon will be a book like this. I'm hoping that it'll be a book that, is around for years and years, and that people can go back and like, remember that sequence in Horizon 1 with the scrambled text?
Yes.
So, hopefully I'll be doing things that are much more complicated and cooler than that, because we just keep getting better. Nothing teaches you like experience.
Right.
And I was so happy that the first issue came out and that people really liked it, because I wrote it a long time ago, so I was a little anxious about it. I'm like, the book is so much better now, but people liked it, and I'm like, okay. Well, if you like one, you're really gonna like something like issue 10, where we've just, every issue you just figure out one more thing that you need. You figure out kind of like a character interaction that really makes sense. And with the Skybound kind of development process for Horizon, there was a lot of conversation and back and forth that went on before I even started writing the scripts. So I felt very prepared. Like, I felt like I knew the characters and I knew the world before I even had to sit down and start writing it for real. Because there's always a kind of like a feeling out process where in the first few issues you're kind of figuring out what works, what kind of like pace you want the story to kind of evolve at. But we took care of a lot of that in the beginning with a lot of the back and forth between me and Sean and Skybound. So when I got ready to actually write the book for real, I felt really prepared. I really felt, emotionally prepared, and I felt technically prepared to do things like that scramble sequence. When we started the process, I might not have been able to figure that out, or I might not have been able to figure it out as quickly as I did.
And at Juan, don't think I'm not going to come back and ask you for
no, it's
comments,
fine.
but
It's fine.
talking about this,
I'm ready.
How hard is it to write that issue 1, right? You have this story in your head.
So hard.
You only have X number of pages. You want to captivate, but you also don't want to just be like, here's everything. Go.
Right.
So I mean, I just have to imagine, especially if you're working on this for that long, that like that was still pretty challenging thing to do, right?
It was super challenging. I would say the thing that I've learned from working with Skybound is patience. I think if you look at some of my other projects in the past, there's a kind of like frantic, uncontrolled nature to them, which is also very cool in comics. That's one of the things that we can do better than any other medium. Sure. You know, we have no budget, we have no limits. You know, as long as we have a great artist like this guy, you know, we can pretty much get everything on the page. But working with Skybound, the thing that I've learned is patience in how I'm telling the story. That I don't have to shove 2 issues worth of content into one to feel like there's enough happening to keep me and to keep the audience engaged.
Awesome. All right, Juan, you ready?
But writing issue 1s are hard. It's so hard.
Yeah.
We have 4 extra pages, and I could have taken 4 more, like easily. I can just flip through it. It's like, oh, I could have made that 2 pages.
Juan, what are some of your favorite comics, your go-tos, your read once a year?
Yeah.
So I like that.
No, I think it changed as I was growing up. I started reading some stuff like Spawn, and then it changed. Then I started reading like Hellboy. I was a huge fan of Steampunk by Chris Bachalo and Joe Kelly. I think
it's an amazing book,
like a masterpiece that was so like underrated, unfortunately. But
see, we like the same stuff.
Yeah, but right now my favorite comic that I would say that it's the best of all time. It's One Punch Man. It's my favorite thing.
What was that?
One Punch Man.
Oh, One Punch Man. Yeah.
I think it's amazing, and I like Dragon Ball Z a lot, and I think Rumble from Image. It's a great book from James Harren and John Arcudi. It's one of my favorite things.
So you brought up manga, and you brought up an interesting thing about Juan being good about drawing fighting. And is there like a connection to be? You know,
I think
I've always felt
like
there's it's one thing in manga, like you know, the range of choreography that I've seen is like, it's really impressive.
Yeah, and the thing is that those guys put out like 18 pages per week.
Right.
And we do like 20 per month.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a lot of work. So they're like on a different level. But the good thing with manga is that they take their time. Sometimes you have 2 pages where the character is only like charging a superpower, you know, and then he releases that.
Right.
That's pretty cool. I wish we had that time in American comics. Yeah. But
that's really interesting. Sort of perspective, because totally,
like
but culturally different, just release schedule different.
Yeah, and those guys are like rock stars over there too. Like if you create comics, you're know, like an actor.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah, and they also, I like how they dedicate time to like transformations, or like I don't know, when Goku is transforming into Super Saiyan, they take like a number of pages. When in some American comics, it's just like from one panel to another. And that's it. So with Horizon, what I'm trying to do is like find like a middle ground.
Okay.
So
that's great. I mean, I'm also a big fan. Of manga, and you know, for as many American books I read, I absolutely dip into quite a bit. And that's really interesting to hear you guys say that, because that sounds right up my alley. Like,
awesome, man.
Yeah. There's a physicality to manga that some American comics lack. So we're trying to, especially when the action ramps up, when this guy gets to work, when we get a couple of fights, a couple of car chases, you're really going to, it's really going to look and feel different. I'm very excited for you guys to really kind of experience this initial 6-issue arc, because it's going to be a complete thing, but it's really going to make kind of the storytelling more complicated, and I think it's going to be a good kind of teaser for the type of storytelling that we're going to do going forward. It's going to be a mix. We're going to have like our covert spy stuff. We're going to have a little hand-to-hand, but we're also going to have some really intense, frantic, out of control action sequences, so you can really see this guy show off a little bit.
So let's dive a little bit deeper into Horizon.
Okay.
And I know obviously we're going to be coming up on issue 2 here soon. And you mentioned you got the 4 extra pages, and I remember finishing the first issue and going like, I've got this like weird feeling because I read the afterword, right? And so I'm like, okay, this is awesome.
Using every inch.
Like I love that, right? And yeah. So, and then I like went back and sort of processed the last few pages again. Because after reading the afterword, I'm like, wow, I don't know who the good guys are, who the bad guys are, who I'm supposed to root for, what I'm supposed to, and I as a reader, I'm like, well, then I can't wait to get that second issue, and I have to imagine first off, like totally intentional,
yes,
but
absolutely
also,
intentional.
Like, I mean, straight up, that's the feeling that you were trying to get out of it.
That's what I'm trying to get. I want to blur the lines against, with our main cast of alien characters. And you're going to meet a lot as the story evolves and the issues, come out. You're going to meet more just human characters, people, that are kind of bad guys and kind of part of this conspiracy to get Earth off of its dying world. But you're also going to, meet some regular people. And the thing that I kind of want to point out, not too strongly, because I don't want to, give too much away.
Yeah, please don't.
But let's just say that our main characters have encountered the very worst possible representation of human beings, and they come here and they think everyone is like that.
Right.
What happens when they learn that's not the case?
And that's absolutely the feeling I got from like sort of the final dialogue of the first character. So yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So and actually now
I should stop. I have this thing where
so you could stop there, but also connecting the dots, which I didn't realize until now, right? I know that Earth is sort of a dying world, right? But then I'll ask the question in a very vague way, but the first two panels show a ship entering the atmosphere, but there's all this crap.
Yes.
And I was like, what is this crap? But I feel like I'm probably
coming back to it.
All right.
We're coming back to it.
Good stuff. Every inch, man.
Yep.
Every inch. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Let's, Juan, how are things going over there? We're checking
looking
the time
good over
check. You got about 15 minutes.
Cool.
How you feel?
Yeah, I should be fine. Yeah.
Looks very good.
Yeah, thank you guys.
I think he's going to make it.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
I think so, too.
I see the eyeball already.
Yeah.
So what?
This guy's amazing.
Yeah, I can't wait.
In like a half an hour.
It's
ridiculous.
What's everything you guys are doing here at San Diego Comic-Con? Did some signings today, you said?
Yeah, we did our first signing together at noon. We have another big signing on Saturday, which is going to be amazing. It's going to be like the eye of the storm. It's going to be 2 p.m. in the afternoon.
Awesome.
So really looking forward to that. Doing we have a Skybound panel that we're going to do on Sunday. So just taking it easy for the most part, for me anyway. I'm going to try to restrict my kind of running around and buying things. I bought too many things at a previous convention, so I'm trying to cut myself off.
You want to know the guy that checked us in at the airport? He just, I was wearing an Invincible t-shirt. He saw San Diego, so he's like, you're going to Comic-Con, right? He's like, just so you know, your bag's 49 pounds, so if you bring anything back, you're going to get charged for it. And I was like, don't worry, I got another bag already for that. Like,
no,
it's pretty funny.
I bought one of those scales that have like the hooks on there.
I did too. It's essential.
Yep, I did that. I did that years ago.
It's great.
Because I had a couple of years where those bags were like
those
55
make the greatest
pounds.
gifts because anyone can use it. It's like, I don't know what to get them. Luggage, scale, everyone needs one of those. They charge.
You need it, pick it up.
Yeah. And I mean, you love comics. You've said you've been to a lot of Comic-Cons.
I adore comics.
But coming to a Comic-Con where you just released a first issue in a new book is
From
probably
Image.
Totally different than any other Comic-Con you've done. Is that right?
It is. Having, that book with that Image eye on it and the little Skybound that guy right there, it's different. It's a fantastic feeling, and it's really hard to describe. And I'm thankful and I'm appreciative of the opportunity that we've been given to work with Skybound. They've been, above board, super nice. very professional, insanely organized. Like a couple of days ago, they actually sent me my schedule. And it was the first time that I had ever worked with a company.
Wait, I don't have to go through the program and find out where
I don't have to go through the program and like put it in my phone. I was completely amazed. Like there were phone numbers on it. It was like official Skybound letterhead. So very organized, very professional, very cool, easy to work with, collaborative. And they have fun putting out comics, and I have fun making comics. So
I have fun reading them. So
it's a very good match.
It works out pretty good.
Yeah. Where everyone is where they're supposed to be, doing what they're supposed to be doing.
I mean, I'm obviously no stranger and one of the biggest fans of Skybound around. And I have to say, like I just have to ask the question because, again, like in seeing how the success of The Walking Dead and what has happened with Outcast and like every single time then a new book, a new idea, something comes from Skybound, of course, like, and this is Skybound's fault, right? For training me, the fan,
that's the
to be like,
now.
the game might be coming, the TV show might be coming, maybe the movie's coming. I don't know, right?
Statues.
And is that a part of the excitement? Because I know like the creator first, and I know the freedom and the flexibility that you're giving, but there also has to be a certain excitement out of the potential, just seeing all of the projects that Skybound is involved in.
Absolutely. I think for me, the biggest thing that I've been telling people, for me, if something happens with the book in another medium, like what that means to me is I'll be able to finish the book exactly how I want to.
Right.
I'll be able to take exactly, how much time. I'm like, what? Oh, did it get optioned? Oh man, that means I got another 18 issues. That's great. That's great. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it in a very kind of, it's about to me it's about the comic. So anything that makes doing the comic easier or that facilitates the making of the comic, so I can feel like me and this guy can actually sit down.
That's awesome,
and tell Horizon, the way that you want to. You want to be able to tell a story and get to the end on your own terms. And when you're doing comics, it's it's always fun, but there's always that feeling like, how long are we going to be able to do this? Like how long are people going to be into this?
Right.
So for me, things happening in in animation or movies or TV, the thing that's most exciting to me is like, oh man, okay, then I can write 50 issues then. That's fun.
Yeah. It's, and also just to see the whole, the whole world around just comics. And like, I'm really thankful for like in mainstream media, some of the movies and that have just given more attention to comics in general. Like, I think it's great that people are, coming around, haven't been into comics, are finding something to sort of bring them into it. And I do think that, the sort of the transmedia element of everything happening has helped, but I also appreciate the shit out of the fact that you say, like this is, this is the comic too. I mean, it's like of course I want to see a lot of my favorite stuff turned into this, so I could see another visual representation of it. But at the end of the day, it's like it is these books that got me into these ideas, the characters, the concepts, etc. So.
And then there's something else that I always keep in mind.
This is. Oh, okay. We got it. All right. A little mic. I think.
Check.
Yeah. Mic check.
Okay.
So I'll check in with Juan in a second. Hold that thought because I want to hear what you have to say. How's it going over there, Juan?
Pretty good.
It's looking pretty good.
Thanks, man. Yeah, trying to add the final details. Yeah. And I should be done pretty soon. Yeah.
Like it. All right. Well, we'll evaluate. All right. Let's do we hear Brandon now?
Mic check. We good?
Yeah. Or do we? Okay, still checking on that. So.
I'll be trying to see you next time.
Okay. They're gonna look into that. So. All right, Juan. It's you and me right now.
Yeah.
Brandon talked his mic. He talked it into malfunction.
Yeah.
That's fine. What about you in terms of coming to a Comic-Con as a creator, but also then coming to a Comic-Con where your first issue has just been released? Is that pretty amazing?
It's it's great, but it can be pretty overwhelming. It'll be very overwhelming because it's like you don't know what it feels like until you're actually at the show. It's pretty crazy. But
do you get to also like meet a lot of folks who you're a fan of?
Yeah, that was one of my favorite things. The first year that I came to Comic-Con, it was 2 years ago, and being able to talk to like Mike Mignola or Jeff Darrow or Kim Jong-gi, it's amazing, and I'm very excited to meet Chris Bachal on Saturday. That he's gonna be signing stuff. That guy's like, he was one of my heroes growing up.
Yeah.
And being able to meet him on Saturday and talk to him, he probably doesn't even know who I am. That's fine, but it's like it's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
All right. Well, you officially have now about 7 minutes. So,
Okay.
Brandon, I think we got you back.
Oh, am I back?
You're back.
All right. Good.
Yep. We got you.
Good.
Yeah. So.
Best storytellers in the world are doing comics.
Yeah. I agree.
Put that on the record.
I agree.
And the cool thing about Horizon the comic, it's the version of Horizon that has like $1 billion budget. Like if it goes into another medium, then that becomes a conversation. It's like, oh well, what's a version of this we can do, maybe for like 100 million.
Right.
But the comic is gonna be pure, unadulterated, like,
which is truly like one
me
of
and
the
Juan mainline onto the page.
It's one of the greatest ways to like visually show anything. So
yeah,
it's really great.
I mean, we can blow up worlds. It costs us it costs him time. It costs him time and effort. But,
it doesn't. Well, I guess it's a different type of render time, right? It's physical Juan render time versus.
And then figuring out like, why am I still working with Brandon when he's asking me to blow up worlds in every issue?
Oh, well, I hope that you guys have a really great, entire Comic-Con. It's, like I mentioned earlier, it's like this show grows every year. More people, energy, like people's costumes get more intense.
Setup.
This is great.
It's great.
It's and indoors this year. Last year we were outdoor at Petco Park. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Juan would have been.
I like this better.
All over. Yeah.
Yeah, probably me too. We'd both be. We'd be here like wearing tank tops or something up here.
Yeah. As far as the future is concerned, I know we've seen covers for the next 2 issues, if I'm not mistaken. And you said you're currently working on 6.
Yeah, he's working on 6. I turned in 12 maybe a month and a half ago.
Okay.
And after the show, gonna start plotting out 13 through 18.
Okay.
So it continues. So we definitely want to take advantage of this lead time that we have. We know a lot of it's a way to kind of kill your momentum. You put a few books out, people really get into them, and then you start missing dates. So we definitely want to make sure, like in this first year, that we're really on top of ourselves and really try to get you guys a nice meaty chunk of issues before we're like, oh, we need more time.
Right.
We just can't do it. We had to add an extra 6 pages. That's something me and him, we're always asking for extra pages if we can get them. There are 4 extra pages in issue 1. There are going to be 4 extra in 6. And then in the second arc, there are a couple of spots.
So I got it as someone who's only a tiny bit knowledgeable about the process. Like, I assume like it comes down to like printing costs and and how that offsets. But is it difficult for you to
get extra pages?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. There has to be a very very strong story justification.
What we should do is anyone who's watching right now, like, start sending the fan letters and just say, man, the only thing that would make this book better would be if there's 4 extra pages, and then we'll just we'll create the buzz.
But we're always trying. We're always asking Sean. So I only try to call in the favor when we really need it. When we have a sequence or a key issue, And then I'll say, you know, and I'll start out small too, right?
Half a page.
Yeah, well, you have to ask for them in twos.
Okay,
so
yeah, right, of course.
So you start out, well, let's go to 22 instead of 20, and then we'll see how that goes, and then maybe it'll be like, I did my best to do the 22, but I needed 24, so, you know, I won't ask again for several months.
Yeah.
So you just gotta pick your spots.
Keep going.
But 20 pages it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough getting it all in and feeling like you're, you know, I always compare it to kind of like the door slamming on your foot. You know, that 20-page limit. And comics, well, the thing that's funny, comics used to be 22 pages. And I think maybe about 5 years ago, everyone started transitioning back to 20 from 22. And having started at 22 and going back to 20, it's like, I can't do it. I can't do it. Why are they taking away all my pages? But we've gotten used to it. You can fit it in. You can fit it in.
2 minutes.
Cool.
2 minutes
Yeah,
left.
I'm done.
Are you?
Look at that, he's done.
Yeah.
He doesn't even need
The
all the time.
final strokes are being.
I should be. Yeah, I'm just adding stuff like. Yeah, but I think it's done. I don't know.
I love that.
It's never done, is it? See, you put the cap on his pen like 4 times.
Yeah.
That's it. One more time. One more. There's one more thing you want to fix. Isn't there?
Maybe this.
There it is.
Maybe here. One more black.
And then I'm going to suggest you should put Comic-Con 2016. Sign it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. Zombified Battle Beast.
There it is.
In like a half an hour.
Can I see
Yeah.
it?
Look at the eye, man.
Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah.
Arm missing.
Still got the mace though. You gotta have the mace.
Yeah, can we just use the last 90 seconds to say how much we hate Juan for having this amazing
For
talent?
having so much talent.
Brandon, like really,
And
how much
I can
do
barely
you?
draw stick figures.
We're all. That's amazing. Here, you want to give the camera a nice shot of that?
Nice peek of that.
Is that a good one?
That's fine.
So we'll have details probably up on Twitter. On
Aren't all
how
the
you might be
details
able
for
to,
everything up on Twitter now?
Apparently, something like that.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
Having you up here.
Thank you.
I look forward to chatting
next
again.
year?
Yeah, next year.
Yeah,
when
next
we're like,
year.
oh, issue 12.
That's what we're
yes.
talking. We were talking about that at the booth. We were like, can you imagine this time next year we'll have like 11 or 12 issues
Have a
and
trade.
a trade?
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
man. I can't even imagine.
That's really good.
Can't even imagine.
Juan,
Yeah.
really appreciate you bringing your talents up to the stage.
Oh, thank you guys.
Is there anyone you want to thank, shout out before we wrap things up?
Oh
with you
yeah,
guys?
I want to say that Frank Martin's doing a great job. The colorist of Horizon, he's doing a great job. Same with Andres Juarez, right?
Yep.
The designer,
Yep, the
he's
designer.
doing a great job. When he did the logo
Design that
for,
language key and stuff.
Yeah.
when he designed the logo for Horizon, I'm like, this one. Let's go with this one. And thankfully, that's the one that worked. But he's doing a great job. And I don't know.
So Frank, Russ Wooten, letterer, I think we mentioned him before. Jason, who's doing our
the covers.
Our covers.
Jason Howard.
Jason Howard's doing our covers. So issue 2 and the second print of issue 1 is in stores August 17th. So be on the lookout for it. Thank you for everyone that supported the book. The great reviews, the great feedback. Me and Juan really, really appreciate it. And we'll see you guys with a new issue in a few weeks.
That's excellent.
A couple of new characters to be on the lookout for.
Don't forget, write to the letters and ask for the extra pages.
We need 22. 22 every month.
We have 2 more artist creator spotlights that we're going to be doing over the next couple days. But I have to say, you guys definitely set the bar high.
All right.
Thank you so
That's what we
much
wanna
for
do.
for stopping by. And as I said, don't forget to check out Horizon issue 1 and issue 2. What'd you say, August 17th?
August 17th.
August 17th. We'll be there on Wednesday. So,
all right.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a ton more coming at you here. I believe we've got Road to Survival coming up next. Got some more Super Fight coming up later. And we got 2 more days of this happening live from the Sparks Gallery at San Diego Comic-Con. I'm your host, DJ Weed. Thank you to Brandon and Juan for joining us, and we'll be back right after this quick break. Don't go away.
Thanks, guys.